On a summer night, Kai, a second-year university student, gathered with two friends at his apartment. Since no one was drinking alcohol, the three of them were having a great time with just snacks and juice until late at night. As the clock hands past 1 a.m. and they were running out of things to talk about, one of his friends suddenly spoke up. "Hey, why don't we go to XX Hotel?" XX Hotel was an abandoned hotel that had become a famous haunted spot in Kai's neighbor. Located on a small hill a bit away from his apartment, it had been left abandoned for about 20 years since it closed down. There were rumors that an employee had committed suicide in the boiler room in the basement, and it was said that paranormal activities always occurred if you went there. Recently, not only locals but also young people and YouTubers from other prefectures had been gathering there out of morbid curiosity. Kai had always been interested in scary stories, so he immediately agreed to his friend's suggestion. "Sounds good. It's only about 20 minutes from here. I'll drive." The three of them quickly got ready and got into the car, heading straight for XX Hotel. When they arrived at the hotel, there were already several cars parked outside the premises. This place was not only known as a haunted spot, but also as a popular dating spot for local couples because of the beautiful starry sky view. Glancing at the couples gazing up at the starry sky, Kai and his two friends made their way through the overgrown grass towards the hotel lobby entrance. The glass door at the entrance was badly broken, with a hole large enough for an adult man to pass through easily. As soon as they entered, the scent of grass was replaced by an unpleasant odor of dampness, like mold or decay. All the windows were broken, furniture was overturned here and there, and curtains and carpets were torn. The three of them walked around for about 5 minutes. While the interior was indeed dilapidated, nothing paranormal had occurred. The elevator had long since become unusable, so to get to the infamous boiler room, they had to use the stairs. "All right, shall we head to the boiler room then?" Kai said resolutely, but his two friends shook their heads. "It's creepy after all. Let's not go." "Yeah, it's dark, and it would be terrible if we got hurt." Observing his friend's complete lack of courage, Kai felt an unexpected surge of irritation. "Come on, you guys were the ones who suggested coming here in the first place. If you don't want to go, that's fine. I'll go by myself." With those words, Kai began descending the dark stairs. His two friends told him to be careful and said they would wait for him at the landing on the first floor. As Kai went down to the basement, the temperature dropped and the humidity increased. That unpleasant smell became even stronger. He wanted to return to the lobby where his friends were waiting, but having talked big, he couldn't go back without visiting the boiler room. The light from his smartphone barely illuminated the pitch-dark floor. Only the sound of his own footsteps echoed in his ears. Suddenly, he was struck by an odd feeling. There were too many footsteps. Unfamiliar footsteps seemed to be following his shuffling feet. At the peak of his tension, when Kai felt he could barely breathe, a voice suddenly called out from behind him, shattering the silence. "Hey." Startled, Kai let out a sharp cry, his heart pounding as he swiftly turned and directed the beam of his smartphone's flashlight towards the unexpected voice. There were two men standing there. "Excuse me, are you also here for ghost hunting?" By hearing that question, Kai was deeply relieved to realize that the two men were human males capable of communication. It seemed they were also exploring the hotel grounds in search of the boiler room. Then one of them suggested, "Shall we look for the boiler room together then?" Kai felt relieved that he wouldn't have to walk around the creepy abandoned hotel alone anymore. The exploration with the three of them progressed more smoothly than expected, and they quickly found the boiler room. As soon as they entered the room, the two men started taking pictures of the surroundings. A little behind the two men, Kai also began recording video with his smartphone. Suddenly, an orb of light appeared on the screen of his phone. He turned back to the two men excitedly. "Hey, don't ghosts appear in photos like this?" But there was no one there. Kai felt the blood literally drain from his face. No matter how much he looked around the boiler room or peered into the dark corridor beyond the door, he couldn't see the two men anywhere. Unable to bear it any longer, Kai started running and rushed up the stairs to the landing on the lobby floor where his friends were waiting. Seeing Kai's pale face, his friends became very worried about him. "What's wrong, Kai? Are you okay?" Kai immediately explained to them what had happened. To get to the basement, they had to pass through the landing where his two friends were waiting and go down the stairs. If the men he saw in the basement weren't ghosts, his friends should have seen them. "Huh? We didn't see anyone. No one used the stairs from when you went down until you came back up." His friends also creeped out. As soon as Kai heard his friends' words, he ran back to the car. The three of them jumped into the car and fled from X Hotel in a hurry. Kai drove absent-mindedly for about 5 minutes. Then he saw the lights of a convenience store ahead. He pulled into the spacious parking lot and stopped the car right in front of the store entrance. "I want to calm down somewhere bright. Let's go buy something." Kai invited his friends, but they shook their heads. "Really? Well, I'll at least go get something to drink then." As he entered the store and looked for a warm drink, Kai could feel his hands still trembling with fear. He had seen a ghost for the first time in his life. He tried to calm his panicked, scattered thoughts with deep breaths. After he bought a hot green tea, he went outside, and just then, a car pulled into the parking lot. The car kept approaching the store entrance. Kai was speechless when he saw the two people getting out of the parked car. It was the two men who had disappeared in the boiler room. Before Kai could say anything, one of the men spoke up. "You're alive. I'm so glad, really." Then the other man, looking relieved, chimed in. "Seriously, don't scare us like that. We thought you might have been a ghost, and we were really freaked out." Kai couldn't understand what they meant. "What do you mean? I'm the one who panicked when you two suddenly disappeared in the boiler room. Why did you leave me alone in a place like that? That's a cruel joke." The two men also looked puzzled. "As soon as we entered the boiler room, you suddenly stopped moving and went silent while holding your camera. Yeah, you stopped responding even when we called out to you, just standing there with your eyes open. We thought you were messing with us. You didn't respond no matter how many times we called, so we had no choice but to leave you there." Kai couldn't believe what the two men were saying. "Huh? I didn't move nor respond?" "That's right. Then we went outside the hotel and looked around a bit, but we decided it wasn't right to leave you behind, so we went back to the boiler room, but you were already gone. We were talking about whether we might have seen a ghost." The way the two men spoke didn't seem like they were lying. However, Kai had no recollection of standing there without responding to them. There was another point he couldn't accept. "When you two went down to the basement, did you use the stairs next to the lobby?" "Yes, of course. There's no other way to go down there." "Didn't you meet my friends at the landing?" "No, we didn't meet anyone." Kai was convinced that the two men were lying. "That's strange. My friends were waiting at the landing the whole time. They say they didn't see you two at all." Perhaps annoyed at being doubted, the men's voices became a bit harsher. "What do you mean strange? I said we didn't see anyone because we didn't see anyone." The other man tried to calm his friend down. "Hey man, just chill." "But he's right. You're the only person we met in that hotel. Also, where are those friends that you've been talking about?" To his question, Kai answered while he pointing at his car parked right next to their car. "Look, they're the two of my friends in that car over here." Kai turned back to his car. but he couldn't find anyone in his car. That night, Kai had been spending time with two friends at his apartment. One of them suggested visiting XX Hotel, so the three decided to go. Kai remembers that clearly. Even so, he can still not recall who those two friends were, neither their faces nor their names.